Hello and welcome to another episode of Rebuild Your Body presented by BluePhoenix Fitness, where it is our job to help you reclaim your health, lose weight, and become the strongest version of you. I am your host, Cameron Makarchuk, and I got a great video for you today. We're going to be talking all about how do you know when it's time to increase your weights. Okay, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell for alerts so you always get notified of the latest and greatest episodes. All right, so how do we know when it is time to increase the weights that you're using? Well, the super simple answer to that is when the exercise starts to feel too easy, increase the weights. Simple as that. All right, but let's back up for a second here and we'll go a little deeper into that. Remember, the most important thing to know about getting stronger and building muscle is a concept called progressive overload. We absolutely need to have progressive overload consistently over time to get stronger and build muscle. So what is progressive overload? Well, progressive overload is increasing the demand on the muscles consistently over time. So we're always going to be trying to get a little bit more demand, a little bit more stress on the muscles consistently over time for a long period of time so that the muscles rebuild and recover and grow bigger and stronger. So there's a couple ways that we can achieve progressive overload in our training. Number one is to adjust the tempo that we're using. So we can slow down our reps, create more tension across the muscles, and then that is going to increase the demand on the muscles and get them to grow. Okay, so slow down the tempo, increase the tension. Another way is to adjust the exercise that we're doing. So we can actually adjust our body position in the exercise that we're doing. So for instance, an example of this would be going from doing regular push-ups, okay, just regular normal push-ups, and then putting our feet up on a bench and doing decline push-ups. Okay, that is going to make the exercise significantly more challenging. It's going to put more load on the muscles that we're using and more demand on those muscles. So that's another way that we can increase and achieve progressive overload. But the absolute simplest way to achieve progressive overload is simply by increasing the weight that you're using, either with dumbbells, resistance bands, kettlebells, barbells, and weight plates, whatever your tool of choice is. That is the easiest way. Dumbbells being the easiest because you can simply go from 10-pound dumbbells to 15-pound dumbbells to 20-pound dumbbells, and so on and so on and so on. Very simple way to achieve progressive overload. So basically, unfortunately, for the vast majority of the population, we are not going to get stronger and build more muscle by using the same pink or green dumbbells that we've been using for the same exercises in the same workouts that we've been doing over and over again for the last decade. It's just not going to cut it. So here's a very simplified method of how to actually do this in practice. So the key to all of this is that we need to be using a weight that is challenging within the rep range that we are shooting for. Okay, so for instance, if I prescribe in your training program, if I say I want you to do 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps of bench press, for instance, then what I want you to do, what you should be thinking of doing is 10 to 15 reps. That's the rep range you want to hit. So you want to be using a weight that is challenging within that rep range. All right, so let's say, for instance, on set number 1, you go to do your dumbbell bench press and you pick up 20-pound dumbbells, and you're able to do, say you get 18 reps of a dumbbell bench press, and that's pretty tough. You can just squeeze out that last rep with perfect form on the 18th rep. Well, what that means is that on the next set, you should be picking up the 25s because you got more than that 10 to 15 rep range that I prescribed for you in the phase that you're training in. So let's say you pick up the 25s, they're going to be a little heavier. I still want that 10 to 15 rep range. But this time you pick up 25s and you get 9 reps. You can only get 9 reps with perfect form. That's another key. Perfect form. No matter what the weight is, no matter what the rep range is, we have to be hitting perfect form with every single rep. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Has to be perfect form. So let's say you pick up those 25s and you squeeze out 9 reps on that second set. No problem. You have 2 choices. You can either go back down to 20s for your third set, or what I would probably recommend is just stick with those 25s for the third set. See if you can squeeze out 8 or 9, and who knows, you might even surprise yourself, and on the last set, you might actually be able to squeeze out that 10th rep. So now you have the 25s, you're on your third set. Let's say you squeeze out 10 reps with the 25-pound dumbbells on that third and final set. Okay, no problem. You write that in your little notebook, you put it in the app that you're using to track your workouts, whatever. The next week when you come back to that exercise, when you come back to it, you're gonna see, okay, on set number 1, I did 18 reps with 20s, I did 9 reps with 25s, and I did 10 reps with 25s. So what's that gonna tell you? Well, that would tell me that you should be grabbing 25s for your first set. Okay, you're gonna start with 25s and see how many you get. Let's say that first set, you get 12. You're a little stronger, you're a little more fresh on that first set. You squeeze out 12 reps with 25s of dumbbell bench press. Awesome. Come into set number 2, maybe you get 11 reps, maybe 12 again. You come into set number 3, you're still using the 25s. Maybe you get 11 or 12, maybe you get 10 reps on that last set. No problem, you write it all down, because what you're gonna do now is you're gonna work your way back up to being able to do 15 reps with those 25s. So once you can do 3 sets of 15 or more with those 25s, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna put the 25s down, you're gonna grab the 30s, and you're gonna start that process all over again. That is how we get stronger and we build muscle consistently over time. And I'm using 20s and 25s as an example, but it can be lighter dumbbells also. Maybe you're just starting off and you're picking up 5-pound dumbbells. No problem. Still the same process. You're gonna go from 5s until you can do the top end of that rep range, fairly easily. And then you're gonna grab the 7s. Then you're gonna grab the 10s. And you're gonna work your way up slowly over time. This process takes a long time, but that is how you do it. That's the safest, most effective way to do it. And also the simplest. There's a lot of ways that we can manipulate that, and if I was working with you in person, then that'd be a little bit easier for me to help you through, but that is the easiest. Just think in your mind when you're just starting off, look at the rep range that you're shooting for. If you want 10 to 15 reps, then you're gonna work your way up to being able to use a certain weight at the high end. Once you can do that, put those down, grab the heavier ones. You're probably gonna drop your reps down to the bottom of the rep range, work your way back up again, and then just repeat that process over and over and over again. And again, I'm using 10 to 15 as an example. Maybe your rep range, you're in a more of a strength phase. Maybe you're using a 5 to 8 rep range. Maybe you're using a 3 to 5 rep range because you're really looking for some power and strength development. It really depends on what training phase you're in, and that's something that whoever is designing your training program should have set up for you. And if you don't have that set up for you, or whoever is doing your programming hasn't designed a program built in phases that has rep ranges laid out for you like that, what I want you to do is go to Instagram to @BluePhoenixFitness and drop me a DM, and we can chat about getting you involved in one of our coaching programs, and I will set up your training program specifically with that in mind. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, anything like that, drop them in the comments below this video. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the alerts. Can't wait to see you in the next video, which should be somewhere around my head here. So click on that and I will see you over there.